Hello and welcome to On the Couch. This will be On the Couch's final episode for 2023.
Oh, no, man.
Yeah,
Why are we breaking this bad news to me? Oh. Well, I'm excited, even though it's the last one. I think we're gonna have a good discussion today.
Yeah, we definitely are. For the last show, I chose the topic, "The end is here. Are you ready?"
Heavy.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
But before we continue, let's open with a word of prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to see the end of this year's On the Couch. It's been a long, tough year. Thank you for giving us the energy and the stamina. Be with us as we discuss this topic. Open our minds and hearts. This is my prayer in your holy name. Amen.
So, listeners, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notification. Doesn't mean it's going to be our last, but only the last of the year.
Yeah, so we will be taking a little break until next year,
Yeah.
where bigger and better things are coming. All I'm
I
saying,
can't
it's
wait.
going to be exciting.
I can't wait.
But keep your eyes on our social media pages as well, and you will see something is coming.
Awesome.
But
Yeah, tell us about today.
yeah, I had an interesting day. I told you a little bit about a little conversation I had, and I think I should share it with the viewers and the listeners. So I was talking with a young lady, and
Really? No.
yeah, she was. We were talking about life and
Yeah.
how tough things are getting,
Yeah.
financially, and how things are going in the world with all the wars and things like conflicts and things like that. And she was telling me the same thing basically, and she said something interesting. I don't know why it took me by surprise, but it did. And she said, "I can't wait to go to heaven."
Oh.
Wow.
That surprised me as well.
Yeah, like when I told you this, you
Whoa.
even were like, you stopped what you're
I'm
doing and
still-
looked at me.
It's like
and
I'm hearing it for the first time again. Like,
yeah,
that was pretty amazing.
yeah.
Pretty amazing.
So
'Cause you don't hear many people say that nowadays.
yeah,
You know?
so we were talking about, the hot topic now currently is the war that's going on in
Yeah.
Palestine and Israel.
Israel,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that's something very interesting to me. I tried to do some research on it,
Okay.
but everything I found is a little bit confusing to me.
Uh-huh.
It's a little bit confusing
Okay.
because everybody has,
Their own opinion. Or what?
yes, their own opinion, which they say is actually fact, and this is how it actually happened. And I don't know what to believe and where to go and all of these things.
Lance, before we go into that, if
Yeah.
I can just say this. In war,
Yeah.
there are no winners. There are no winners.
Yeah.
There are only losers.
Yeah.
This and this is the whole idea. It's like the ideology or what is being promoted is this tension,
Yes.
polarization.
Yeah.
And if we didn't see the polarization through COVID,
Yes.
because like, is it the right thing, is it not? Then you see it here with the
Yeah.
war, and it's seemingly more increasingly
Yeah.
like that society is becoming divided.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is dangerous. That's very dangerous.
Yeah. Divide and conquer.
Yeah, divided. Exactly.
Yes.
But we'll not go into that. That's for you, listener, to decipher for yourself. But thinking about it, this is a long-standing tension, though,
Yeah.
between Islam and Judeo-Christianity. You know,
Yes.
is that
Yeah.
long-standing thing.
It goes far back.
Like
I was
really
I
far
was
back.
reading there. It was like somebody said from the 1980s and way back even before World War One, after World War One. It's like,
My friend, it goes all the way back to biblical times. That's how far it actually goes back.
Yeah.
The Bible actually talks about that. and we'll probably go and have a look at it a bit more.
Yeah.
I think you were telling me about this interesting fact.
Yeah, so doing this research, you think about what's happening in the world with the natural disasters and things like that. So I
Yeah.
came across a couple of facts and things, and I thought it would be interesting to quiz you about what do you think it is. So
Okay.
I have a few, and I asked you which is the most expensive natural disaster that happened.
And I said something about like the Lisbon earthquake, or
Yeah.
or maybe the tsunami that happened with America.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that
And
that
then
hit New Orleans.
this most expensive natural disaster, which you were right by guessing it's an earthquake, but it was the tsunami in Japan, and they were saying it was like costed them 360 billion
Yeah,
just in
hectic.
material costs and things like that.
That is quite hectic.
It's crazy.
You
And
have to rebuild everything again.
yeah, you have to
It's madness.
Besides that, it's just things that you lose in these natural disasters, whether it be floods or fires. If you look at the crazy weather we had here in Cape Town, and
Yeah.
how they were saying the water level in some people's houses was like
Yeah.
above the window. So you can imagine just water damage.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We had weather that is not like Cape Town. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The low cut-off lows that the southeaster that never brings rain now brings rain.
Yeah.
The Cape Doctor.
Yeah.
So you can see that's happening.
Yeah, these
And-
things
and-
things are changing like never before.
Yeah.
And things are happening like never before. Like if we were talking about the war with Palestine and Israel,
Yes.
before that we had the Russia-Ukraine war.
Exactly.
like-
and it's not over yet.
It's still continuing,
yeah.
but it's just like every time there's another, something happens, and this, you know what I'm saying?
Correct,
It's just there's
correct.
always something.
But if you've thought about it, the increasing rapidity.
Yeah.
So I think before we will go into the biblical evidence for it, but it's seemingly worse.
Yeah.
Not like there weren't wars before.
Yeah.
I mean, just look what happened before. Like, what makes it different
Yeah.
to any other times that we had war or whatever.
Yeah.
But what's different about these wars are not because it's Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
If you look at what the evangelical guys are doing on social media now, and they kind of tying it in with prophecy.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Maybe not in the correct ways, but tying it back to prophecy. But the point is, like, there are 16 million Jews in the world. Did you know that?
No.
The
That's interesting.
16 million. Well, if you look at the Second World War, where they cut off some of them
Yeah.
by death and so on.
Yeah.
But the 60% of Jews are currently in America, North America, that side. And now you combine that with your Christian denominations, and so
Yeah.
you've got this hectic polarization.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the 1040 window, which is the Middle East area,
Yeah.
which are non-Christian, that's a bigger area, or largely populated.
Yeah.
So Judeo-Christians and your Islam and Hindu non-Christians, they are those two groupings are one of the largest groupings
Sure.
in the world. And so you can understand why it is. Now, Luke chapter 21 actually tells us, as in the days of Lot,
Yeah.
it will be. As in the days of Noah, in fact, where violence filled the earth. Actually, interesting when to go and look at some of the wording that is used for it.
Okay.
And it was scary because when you look at the wars and the rumors of wars, I want to share an interesting fact with you before
Okay.
we go into it. And I quote from a letter of Albert Pike.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know who he is, but he is one of the founding members of Freemasonry.
Sure.
And
Interesting.
Freemasonry is not some figment of our imagination anymore. In fact,
Yeah.
they outrightly come out with who they are and what they do.
Yeah.
Wrote in the letter that there will actually be 3 world wars happening.
Sure.
And basically he states in the letter that the third war must be conducted in a way that there will be Muslim or the Arabic world against the political Zionist world of basically Israel, you know.
Yeah.
And what he says, they must neutralize and destroy each other. How hectic is that, though?
Sure.
So and other nations who are looking upon this or who are involved, he then states they should be divided on this issue, and they will be constrained because to the point where they're fighting to complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion.
Sure. So it affects everybody.
Yes, and
affects
not just
everybody.
affecting everybody, but on every single front.
Yeah.
And if you think about the Bible and where these changes are happening in the world, is political, it's economic, and and religious.
Yeah.
And those are the areas that are being targeted.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
you can no longer kind of just believe whatever you want to believe or that kind of thing. It's starting to be criticized. The economy, the moving over from the fiat currency to digital economy.
Yeah.
That's strongly coming. If you didn't hear about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, they're on the way.
Even
And-
if you look at little coffee shops and little stores like that, even they are saying we're not taking cash anymore.
Absolutely. You can go anywhere and you've got the QR code.
Yeah.
Scan
You
it.
can tap
Right.
with your phone, you
Yeah.
can tap with your
In
card.
fact, you can do it in church. But could it be that the war is actually the elite's agenda, is the question. That's just a speculation of an idea, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because Matthew 24 says that nation will rise up against nation and people against people. And so that polarization, whether it is an agenda, whether it is a theory, whether it is what,
Yeah.
the reality is that Jesus said it will happen.
So we can expect these things.
So you can expect it.
So we can expect more of it.
And the rapidity and the increase of it, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So that's something that we're going to be with for quite a long time then, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I can go there for our listeners, Matthew 24, and we can have a look at some of what it's saying so that we can have better understanding and that it's not just something that I'm sucking out of my thumb, you know. So Matthew 24, Jesus here is talking to his disciples, right? And they are busy going around the temple. And let's say the temple and the buildings around the temple.
Yeah.
So they're in Jerusalem, and he basically says to them, his disciples, come up and look at the buildings, and he replies to them, do you see all these things? I'm telling you. That's what Jesus replies. Not one stone will be left here upon another. It will be thrown down. So he says that the temple will be destroyed. That's in Jerusalem at the time. And so we know that the temple was destroyed then.
Yeah.
And so further going on into this, then he goes on to this message and tells them what to look for as the signs of the end of the age, and how would you know that his second coming is coming soon, you know?
Yeah.
And so he then goes on into saying, watch out in verse 4 of Matthew 24, that no one deceives you. So there will be deception, if it's politically, if it's religiously, if it's in all those areas, you know?
Everybody's trying to get you on their side. If you look at how things are developing now, you don't know what to believe and who to believe anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even when I read things, even online or doing research for On the Couch, at the back of my mind, I was like, is this propaganda? Is this what someone wants me to believe? Or is this actually facts? You know what I'm saying?
And that's an excellent question. Because I asked myself, are we not all human beings?
Yeah.
Or doesn't everybody deserve life?
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody deserve killing is wrong, point. Violence is wrong, period. Regardless on which side it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's and why then is it that why is the call not then for peace? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Rather than taking a side. rather than promoting a certain agenda.
Yeah.
A youth. So, and then it goes on in verse 6, it says, and you will going on to hear of rumors and of wars and rumors of wars. But then it says to be careful. So see that you are not alarmed, because these things must take place, but the end will not be yet.
Yeah.
For then nation will rise up against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines,
Yeah.
earthquakes in various places. So we've got wars and rumors of wars.
Yes.
We've got earthquakes,
Yes,
as
we do.
you've opened with. There's been earthquakes.
Yes.
Now there still needs to be famine.
Hmm.
I don't know if you heard that. That's kind of what's also on its way.
On the cards.
ShopRite
Yeah.
actually put in one of the, I think it's the Business Insider or whatever. It doesn't matter which platform,
Publication.
that we're looking at famines. So it tells you to the Bible being true. So we have events that are on its way that will scare people. In fact, Matthew, not only Matthew, but also Luke chapter 21, it says that in verse 22, in these last days, people's hearts will fail them, in fact,
Yeah.
for fear. And so when you're fearful, you are able then to control the narrative, because people are then going to become desperate, and whatever help is offered to them, they're going to take it. Whatever is given to them, they're gonna do,
Yeah.
and not question, because they're desperate.
Yeah.
And so we've got that kind of a narrative.
Yeah. When you're fearful, you're not really thinking straight.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I speaking about fear. I listened to a lifeguard, and he says, fear and panic
Mhm.
is what can kill you when the lifeguard is trying to save you.
While you're busy drowning.
So if he
Yeah.
comes to you, you're busy drowning, and if you are not calm as can be, or if you panic, you can drown both of you.
Wow.
So the person that's actually trying to save you,
Yes.
you can also take that person with you down with you.
Wow. That's
So-
quite incredible.
Yeah, sometimes they just knock you out. I don't know if it's a joke or you're serious, just so
Yeah.
you can be calm, and then they can
And then they can
bring you to
yeah,
shore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that is true. Yes. But just coming back to this wars and rumors of wars that we read in Matthew 24,
Yeah.
verse 6 to 7. Can it be prophetical? Yes. Is it because there's war? No. Because there have been many wars and violent things happening.
Yeah.
But if you look at the escalation of that, you're looking at China as well.
Yeah.
China is trying to take over Taiwan, and that can also increase this whole scenario, into going into the next year.
Yeah.
You look at Iran and even the state of North Korea.
Yeah.
When will that open? But Jesus then goes on to say in verse 8, all these things are the beginning of labor pains or birth pains.
Yeah.
And when I think about birth pains, look, I'm not a woman, okay? I can't say for definite what it's like.
Yeah.
I've never experienced these birth pains, but I do know from obviously videos and experience of others
Yeah.
that they increase, the pains increase
Yeah.
to the coming of the child.
Yeah.
And Jesus likens this to the experience of what the signs and the coming will be of God.
Of God.
Yeah.
So the more frequently it will happen, more frequently and more frequently and more frequently,
And more
then
painful
boom,
and more painful.
then
and
it
then
will,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
it will happen.
And then when it does come, it's like we never knew it would ever happen. But now,
Yeah.
when we're going into the whole idea of the gospel,
Yeah.
Jesus took the gospel moved not from Jews, and this is where many evangelicals get it wrong. They tend to hammer on the fact that the Jewish nation is then still the chosen nation. But being a Jew even Paul says in Romans chapter 2, verse 28 and 29, he's got experience of being a Jew because he persecuted Christians.
Yes.
Because he, in AD 34, the stoning of Stephen occurred. When that happened, the temple veil, we can go read it, was torn. And then the gospel went to the Gentile nations. So if you read the rest of the after the Gospels, it went to the Romans, it went to the Galatians, it went to the Ephesians, all these places. And he says there in Romans chapter 2, verse 28 and 29, a person is not a Jew who is not only outwardly, and circumcision is not that of only outward, but of the heart. So he's bringing it back to, there's this spiritual, or there's this physical Israel.
Yeah.
But that does not necessarily make you part of a spiritual Israel.
Yeah.
And so Paul then includes everybody to be part of the spiritual Israel. That is circumcised in the heart, or whose heart is with God. Not circumcision of the flesh, it says, but of the heart.
Wow.
And so you've got even that, because Jesus even tells his own people in Matthew 3, verse 9, but he said to them, you are not Abraham's children. Being born Jewish, it doesn't make you a child of Abraham. He says, don't think because your father was Abraham that you are a Jew. He says, out of these stones, God can raise up children of Abraham.
Sure. Wow.
That's Jesus himself that says that to his own people. And so it's not necessary by just being from your genealogy. And so God enters even those who are non-Jews, but part of the promise, part of spiritual Israel.
Sure. Wow. And as we come to almost to the end of the show, you have any last words to conclude, Pastor?
Yes, I think for those who have not looked at it, Galatians chapter 4, because of the sake of time, we probably won't be able to read it.
Yeah.
But there's two lineages from Sarah and Hagar, and Paul puts them parallel with each other, and then shows us how the two will continue to be against one another because they disagree, but they're all part from that promise, and they all come from the same father, Abraham.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think to conclude, I would say I want to encourage us with Isaiah. And it says that we as people can put our faith in God and our hope. He will keep you in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on Him. In other words, God will help us put our trust in Him and His ability to provide for us.
Thank you so much for tuning in to our final show for the year. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye and God bless, and can't wait to see you next year.